Welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Real Estate Developer, where my name is Dominique Higgins, take you on my journey of trying to develop my first home, essentially. And so in the last episode, I know a big part of that stage of my journey was like, okay, I'm ready to get my taxes done. I'm ready to get them done out of the way early so I can get pre-approved, so I can just get started on this process and really kickstart it. That did not happen because life decided to happen. So in March, all of my data, I lost access to it because my hard drive died. Literally, I had just finished doing all my P&Ls. I was finishing gathering all my documents that I needed to send to my CPA. All of it gone. I didn't have access to it. Then on top of that, I don't think it was even 2 weeks later, my car, it doesn't pass smog. That's what it was. It didn't pass smog. So I take it to the dealership. It finally passed the smog, but then it dies 3 times after passing smog, to the point where I have now spent more than I would like to spend trying to fix the car that decided to continue to die anyways. And on top of that, I had just finished paying off that car in March. Literally March, the same March where I lost my data was the same March where I had just finished paying off my car. And as a result, I don't know if you didn't know this, but once you finish paying off your car, especially because it's such a large debt in your credit score will actually go down. So that's what happened and what I discovered in April as I was dealing with a car that was also, it just wouldn't work, which then led to me probably committing one of those cardinal sins that you should not do before buying a home, which is buying a car. Because of my business, obviously I travel around a lot. For those who don't know, I am a realtor by trade, and a car is very much necessary. I tried to go as I put 2 months into it, trying not to buy the car and just trying to focus on getting my data back and playing catch up and all this different stuff. But crunching the numbers, that was actually more expensive just with rentals, gas, damage waivers, all of that. And so I went ahead and committed the cardinal sin that you should not do before buying a home or getting pre-approved for any mortgage, which is buying a car. So I ended up buying a car. I will say I love my car and I'm very glad and grateful that I got it. But at the same time, I'm very much feeling this stage of my journey, I'm just playing catch up. Yes. So that's been, but I will say I'm getting there, right? I was able to get my data back after talking to God knows how many different companies. I found one that wouldn't charge me $2,000. Shout out $300 data recovery. And then, so I have that data back and I was finally able to get those P&Ls done. And I'm in the process right now of working and finishing them out and then getting them to a CPA, which is my goal for next week. And then on top of that, I now essentially have to do the double work of repairing. It's not my credit is in the dumps, but it's not where I would personally like it to be. So now I have to think of a strategy in order to bring my credit score back to where it was before I paid off this car loan and before I then purchased another car, which is something that I have to kind of strategize on. It's usually, and you know what's crazy? This is usually not an area that I work on at all with clients. I'm usually hey, you got to work with a credit repair specialist or something like that. I don't know if that's something that I'll do, but I think I'll try. Honestly, I'm just going to try the tips that I have gained so far, from what Experian is saying in terms of paying severely down in other balances, and hopefully that will work within a quick enough time frame. And so now that's that's part A of my plan. Part B of my plan is, and follow me here. So essentially every city, every county, any government body that's in charge of issuing building and safety permits, they're actually required now to have a set of plans there, whether it's for an ADU, a new house, whatever, that you can kind of pick and choose from to use to build on a lot within that city. And so thankfully, because I've and this is where it all starts to come together, which is what I love. So thankfully, for those of you who know and have been following along, I obviously started designing plans a few, like, I think it was like a year and change ago, in order for this very reason, so that I can get familiar with reading plans, so that I can get familiar with working with through the permitting process, so that I can get familiar with like creating and designing them, because I knew that like this would be a core element of like becoming a developer. And so part B of my plan right now is, hey, now let me design a pre-approved plan specifically for the like LA County, Altadena area, and then focus on purchasing a lot there. Follow me here. And then using that plan, which once it's pre-approved, it'll be like an over-the-counter process, which means I essentially just need to like get the property in contract. Once it's in contract, I can literally go to the county website and say, hey, I want to apply this plan, which I designed and got pre-approved, and apply it to this property. And they'll say, okay, great. And then obviously I still have to figure out how that would work out, like negotiation wise. Most likely I would have to pay those fees, but I'd be happy to. So I go ahead and pay those fees, turn them around, get it approved for that property. And then once it's approved, then that makes it even that much easier to do the FHA One-Time Close Program, which is the program that I want to use in order to kickstart this development journey. And I think it's like kind of crazy that like the timing kind of works out this way. So for those super background, but like for those of you who don't know, my family actually like grew up in the Altadena area. So that's where my mom grew up. All my aunts and her sisters, that's where they grew up. So fortunately, like her childhood home is still there. Like I took her up there not too long ago, but it was definitely like not a great trip for her, because a lot of like her school is pretty much gone, like different churches, like they're just gone. And so, but it was crazy. But what's interesting too is like while we were up there, there were so many different like lots for sale that like legit are not on the MLS. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, like this could be an opportunity to like finally get something in an area that like was where my family grew up anyways, that like I could maybe potentially afford. And so that's kind of where my head space is. I think I'll do something different in this video. I think I'll like take you through some of like what I'm doing as I'm executing that plan. Let me know how we like this format. But yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at in this stage, and we'll see how it goes.
What's up, everyone? It is currently 7:30 in the morning. I could not sleep, and so I've been up since 3 a.m. and I was like, you know what, let me just come into the office. So that's where I am right now, and I am working on a floor plan. So this is the floor plan here, and this is probably one of my favorite programs. This is the program that I use when helping like clients try to figure out what floor plan they want. And so the idea is I essentially want this to be multiple people, including myself, living under one roof. And so my thought is, okay, let me have this area as for me, and then let me create 2 more spaces that could each individually be rented out. And so that way there are a total of 3 people all under one roof. And then eventually, once this whole house is built as a house, I can go back and do, okay, let's call this an attached ADU, and let's call this a JADU, because again, I live there. And then, continue to rent it out. I mean, I don't necessarily have to do that, because you're allowed to like rent out individual rooms, but that is still an option. And so really, I'm just kind of playing around with, okay, so this is like honestly personal preferences in terms of like, hey, this is the type of kitchen I would like. This is kind of the space I would like for the living room area. For the bedroom, I definitely want like an at-home like office / like walk-in closet type. And so that's where this is. And it's really cool about this program is I can pretty much put things in here 2D, and then I can go and explore them like 3D as well, which is why I like it so much. I don't know why that wall is like this. So for example, if I click here, it'll take me through like what that potential kitchen could look like in the future floor plan. And then as you can see, like all the different doors, it shows me the space. So when people are walking through, there's like enough space for the people sitting to stay there, and then for the people coming in. And then this is kind of like that living room area. Oh yeah, this door is here because it's technically, as a house, each of the rooms, quote unquote, have to all be connected. So I'll kind of faux put in a door there, and then close it off later. But that's why that's there. But anyway, so this would be a living room area, and then this would be like where the TV would go. And then kind of, I'm thinking from this area, you'd be able to go into the bathroom. Oh my goodness, obviously I have to like go through this. And then also the bedroom is through there. So yeah, it's a really fun program. Definitely check it out if you kind of want to play around with your own floor plans, and hand them off to, I mean, hey, if you want to design them yourselves or hand them off to an architect or engineer, I think this is a great program, so you should definitely check it out. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead at this wee bright morning and play with this and try to get the floor plan to where I would like it to be. You guys, I think this is it. I think this is it. So right now, this is approximately 900 square feet. I kind of want to get it down to 800 square feet because that is the bare minimum size. And the more you save on square footage, the more you save on cost. But I think this is it. Like, this area here will be like my quotas. And so kitchen, living room, bathroom, bedroom, walk-in closet. Then we have this studio apartment, bathroom, closet, full kitchen with stackable washer and dryer. Small, but full kitchen. And then we have this studio, definitely on the more micro end. The kitchen, it is very close to the bed. So I'm thinking this is a full, this is a queen. Maybe doing like a lofted bed, I don't know, I have to figure it out. But in terms of like the shape and like how it's arranged, I definitely like it, especially this laundry room slash closet. Move this door over here. And then, yeah, I really like the laundry room slash closet. And then this bath, which has a corner shower instead. I still have to play with it, but I think this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming together. So this is the AutoCAD program, by the way. And so that floor plan that I showed in the previous clip, I pretty much just like converted it into this. And so these are the dimensions that I'd actually submit to the city. I actually really like it. And let me go back over here. I'm calling it the walk-in closet, but really I'm gonna have like clothes here, and then this little corner I'm gonna have as like a desk area. So yeah, this is a plan. And so in order to submit, I went ahead and looked up the website. Well, these are the other examples that they had. But pretty much they're saying like, let me see this. Standard approval checklist. Okay. Yeah, so they said use this address, fire rebuild master plan, which is what I'm gonna do. Attach 3 required items below in any order. So I'm gonna attach the floor plans, the elevations, and the back sheet, and then this approval supplemental form, which I'm looking at now. And yeah, I'm like I kind of want to submit multiple floor plans. I kind of want to do that and maybe submit like a normal 3-bed, 2-bath, because this one's definitely not normal, but I'm also exhausted right now, so we shall see. But that is pretty much where I am in this process. All right, this is me uploading it. It's kind of crazy because like this system is so not designed to make this easy. Like it's so confusing because there's no site, there's no photo, because it's like a pre-approved plan. So I don't even care. I'm just attaching all of it and then going to submit it and see what they say. The county did not like my plan. She was basically like, yeah, this needs to be a single family residence, so take out the additional kitchens, which I guess makes sense. And then she was basically like, you need to have
pick the front of the property and make sure that there's an entrance from the front. So your girl went ahead and redid the floor plan. So I definitely changed it. I made this part the front. This is the front door. I had to add some aesthetic differences to the, like a canopy above this because it's part of the zoning or planning code. And so now this is gonna be a kitchen, living room, kitchen space. This is gonna be the bedroom, very skinny, but long. TV's gonna go here. And then we have the full bath, and then I have my walk-in closet here. And then walking through here, this is gonna be the start of that second bedroom. Now, on the low here, once this is approved, my plan is to, again, put in a little L-shaped kitchenette here, and then put in a little kitchenette here. I toned this bed down to a twin instead of a full, just to make it feel more spacious. Again, I might loft this or like stage it with a lofted bed so people get the idea that that's how to make the space work. But because the county didn't say anything, I'm still keeping the extra laundry room here, and then I'm gonna add laundry to this closet as well. So, yep. Okay. So the plan got approved by planning. So yay for me, which is a good step. So now I have to move on to essentially apply with building and safety and see what they say. In the meantime though, there's this property that this lot that fell out of escrow for only $212,000. I know I whispered it, so I'll say it louder, $212,000. So right now I'm honestly like, that's so low that it's worth going after. So I'm thinking of like, I asked the planning person, I was like, hey, is this like, can we just rebuild the house that was originally there? And she's like, honestly, yeah. Like if you want to rebuild, if the house is like 700 square feet and you want to rebuild that, do it. And I was like, perfect. Say less, because that was the case for this house. And so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if the lot was 212, building a 700 square foot single family house, that's going to be like 250 maybe. That puts all in price at 460, 450, which is really good for a brand new construction. And so but I have to figure out how to put this deal together, because you can't do the FHA One-Time Close Program unless you have an approved plan, but you can't get an approved plan or apply for one unless you own the property. So this means I'm pretty much gonna have to put an offer together and like figure something out. But that's exciting and it's worth it because 212 is insane. This is the $212,000 lot. So I did go on site and I was essentially just taking video to kind of point out where the old original house was and also what was just side patio areas, just so I can have an idea of how it actually went on the lot. And I tried to pitch it to the lender I've used in the past for past deals, but they were essentially like, we do not do lot loans, which honestly was very disheartening. And I had to freak out for a couple of days. Like, how do I have this once in a lifetime opportunity and I can't find the funding for it? So I hit the whiteboard and I was like, okay, let's try this plan instead. Let's submit an offer, get authorization to submit to building and safety to rebuild the original house. I have the proof of funds in the bank. I can get a proof of funds lender letter from company the wholesalers use. And then let's tie it up for 45 days. Let me get the plan approved by the county. Let me get it bid out to different contractors. Once I have those two things, then easily I can lock in a one-time close lender and then we can close it. And all of this would have to be contingent on like getting that plan approval, because that's really the linchpin to this entire thing. So that's what I'm gonna go with. This has been a weird Monday morning. So I'm trying not to be too loud because I'm surrounded by offices right now, but I was like working towards that property that I showed you. And then I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, this is the plan. I like called the person I wanted to use for the FHA One-Time Close Program, and I nailed down my final questions. And I was like, okay, perfect. this is what we're gonna execute on. And then a part of me was like, oh, let's just go check, refresh the page to see if it's still available. It wasn't, it went pending. Then what proceeded, I was literally like, really sad. That's the only thing. I was like so sad. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh my God, like here was my one shot, my one opportunity, and I literally just messed it up. I like was too slow, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But then I was like, you know what? Maybe it was just not meant for me, and maybe something better is out there. And then I was looking at other properties that are available, and like all of them are priced significantly higher. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not gonna be able to find anything that works for me. And then I click on the next highest priced one, and I'm like, okay, this is a larger lot. It's $100,000 more. That's great. But like, how am I gonna afford whatever can be built on the property? And then I legit pull up the property on Realist, and it shows you how large the house was previously. The previous house was only 380 square feet, which means this is gonna cost so much less than building on the lot that I was obsessing over would cost. And yes, there is an offset. The value of the land is higher, but this is an even better scenario because it's more land and a smaller house. So sometimes, I mean, I'm just feeling like God's like, hey, what is meant for you is meant for you, and stop bitching about the rest. That's literally what I feel like right now. And I had to share it because I was just like, the wave of disappointment was rushing over me, and I was like, oh my God, how could I F that up? But now I'm feeling a little bit like, okay, Dom, let's detach emotionally from this and let's keep going. So that's what we're gonna do. Taking that last property as a sign, I was like, I am not gonna waste time on this one. So immediately the next morning I went out and I went to take measurements to get an idea of where the original house once was on this lot. I do like to do this because it just kind of helps me to visualize everything. I then went back into the office, and like as soon as I got back, I was like, okay, let me submit an offer. And so that's what I did. All right, so it is Friday, I don't even know, the 25th or something. So I submitted the offer on like Tuesday. I think that's where I last left you guys. Crap. I submitted the offer on Tuesday, and then I get a call from the agent that afternoon, and I basically like outlined the whole situation. I was like, hey, I want to make it a win-win situation. You don't have to do anything. I will submit the plans to rebuild the property. I don't know. Anyways, I don't have to take you through it because I've been taking you through it, but I essentially outlined the entire plan with him, being very transparent of like, hey, this is contingent on like the plans getting approved by the county. If for whatever reason I fall out of escrow and like you get the plans, like no harm, no foul, you don't owe me anything. And so he was actually super on board with it. And he's like, you know what? Like, this is one of like the better offers that we got. We've been getting a lot of offers from people who want to JV. He was actually very much on board. And so I was like, okay, super excited. And then he's like, let me call my client. They're out of state, and I'll let you know what they say. I did not hear from him. I did wait. It's been like since Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been 3 days. Haven't heard from him. So I'm assuming that's a no. The property is still listed for sale. So yeah, at this point, again, I'm of the mindset I tried. I feel good about the fact that I did try. It's not like the situation last time where I felt like disappointed in not making the effort quickly enough. I definitely jumped on it as soon as I could. And then I think for me at this point, I'm just planning to repeat the process, continue like over and over until I find the person who's like, you know what? Yes, we're willing to do this with you. Hopefully that is the case because I mean, summer is very quickly coming to an end. School is starting, and that's usually when real estate season gets less busy. And so I'm predicting that like maybe if these properties stay or some of these lots stay on the market long enough, then some of these sellers will be willing to entertain that option. So that's kind of where I am at right now. It's definitely been a little bit more of a roller coaster, but I mean, hey, that's all about the journey. And yeah, I'm excited to see and take you through what happens next.